Welcome back to Taylor Morton's podcast on technology and culture. Today's podcast is going to touch on the current issue regarding what is more prominent, cybersecurity or national security. You have two of the most dominant companies in the world going head to head right now. Apple, which is valued at over $700 billion, and the FBI, which is the nation's prime federal law enforcement agency. As you remember, not too long ago on December 2nd, 2015, Farouk Malik, a health inspector for the San Bernardino County Department of Health, calmly left his table at the annual staff meeting and training event. Roughly 2 hours later, him and his wife, Saeed Farouk, come back as the post-meeting holiday luncheon was beginning and opened fire on nearly 70 people with automatic pistols and rifles. This attack killed 14 people and injured 22. This was not the end. After responders arrived, 3 pipe bombs were found in multiple places that luckily failed to detonate. The two escaped the scene and ended up dying in a shootout with police 4 hours later. This was the worst attack to occur in the United States since September 11th. Currently, there is a big debate as the California courts ordered Apple to help the FBI hack the iPhone C that was owned by the gunman. Due to Apple's long history of guaranteed privacy and security, they refused to agree to these terms, making a strong stand to their promise of security and privacy to customers. Some question, is this truly about unlocking an iPhone? As the FBI says, they're ordering Apple to create software that eliminates specific security that does indeed protect consumer data. So the real question here is, should companies be forced to cooperate with the law enforcement agencies during terrorist investigations? Oppositions to Apple's stance are people like Donald Trump and Bill Gates, backing the decision that the FBI should be able to have access to this information for national security purposes. The victims of the San Bernardino shooting side with the FBI as well in efforts to unlock the iPhone C to access the reasons behind the attacks and the possible linkages. Recently, Manhattan District Attorney currently has 103 iPhones in their possession. If Apple does indeed unlock the iPhones for the FBI, this opens up for every other case basis to flood Apple with the same request. The real debate should be what threat could actually be stopped, since it won't be an immediate threat since the guy passed away. And if this was the work phone of the shooter, which the company gave them, with 2 other phones that he smashed before, then chances are all the data is on the smashed phones. In response, Apple's Tim Cook says, this case is about much more than a single phone or a single investigation. At stake is the data security of hundreds of millions of law-abiding people, setting a dangerous precedent that threatens everyone's civil liberties. Also stating, if this back door is open for the FBI, it will be accessible to others as well. For this, I have to take the side of Apple, because if they unlock this particular phone, it will give hints to future hackers and expose the security systems that Apple has in place for the protection and privacy of its customers. Also, if Apple releases the information, then the FBI would have access to information such as locations, fingerprinting from unlocking the phone that they wouldn't have access to before, which is a problem because only past criminals are documented with fingerprints. But now, fingerprints of everyone that use iPhones, due to Apple's great feature of touch to unlock, are all going to be in the system. This issue isn't about homegrown safety. This issue is truly about government gaining control over bigger corporations. Forcing companies to compromise to these given accesses gives away Apple users' privacy and will be detrimental to future security. This is not an issue of can we hack it. This is an issue of should we? And the answer to that is no. Thank you for listening to today's podcast. Next week, we have a guest speaker that will be on board to discuss the issue of Facebook advertisements and the linkage to recent computer searches.